Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Dugout Football Channel. It is the match preview of Liverpool against Fulham. Yes, a rearranged game thanks to, I think it was the FA Cup, actually. I think it was the FA Cup anyway. But it is great to be back, and it is great to have another match preview. And I've been joined by three fabulous guests. From the opposition side, we have Mr. Steve Liddiard. How are you, mate?
I'm good. Thoroughly looking forward to tomorrow night's hammering. But no, it'll be a game, I think, to be fair. But I expect us will probably lose tomorrow. But yeah, all good myself personally, and I hope you guys are too.
Yeah, I'm good, mate. I'm good. It's lovely to have you back on the channel, and we've also got two fabulous guests from the Liverpool side of things. Mr. Jack Mack from Anfield Road TV. How are you, mate?
Not too bad, mate. Yeah, not too bad of an introduction, but great to speak to Steve again and the lads. And yeah, I'm looking forward to tomorrow evenings. I'm going tomorrow, so look, it should be good. Hoping, but we'll find out. We'll find out tomorrow evening, mate.
Absolutely, and we've got what I'd like to say the David Attenborough of podcasting, but within days he will be becoming a dad very, very shortly. Mr. Owen Thomas, how are you, mate?
I'm absolutely thrilled to be back, and even more thrilled to be becoming a dad soon. Although obviously mixed with quite a bit of trepidation. It's my first child. I don't know if I can. I'm not very good at keeping plants alive, so hopefully I'm a bit better at humans. But I'm going to try my best. But very, very excited. It's great to be here. And hello, everyone.
Hello, yes, absolutely indeed. Tom's in, all right, fellas. Yeah, how are you feeling, Tom? That was I thought Everton actually were the better team against Leicester. I thought Leicester were absolutely shocking yesterday. I thought Leicester were very, very poor. I thought Everton deserved to win. Yeah, I think you might be regretting that. Hello, Sebastian, as well. Jack's just going to the pub round the corner from the ground to clap at the TV.
Behave, lad. Match day vlog there, lad.
And hello, Liz, as well. Hiya, big doings. Oh, and congratulations.
Hi, thank you very much, Liz.
Yes, absolutely. But yes, we are. It's Liverpool against Fulham, and we all remember the game from earlier this season. But Steve, the last time you were on, your expectations were something: we will finish bottom or we will finish near the European places. How would you sum up your season? Because I have to say, it has been very, very good season for Fulham.
Yeah, pretty much Fulhamish, finishing anywhere between. I know it's a large scope, but that is how Fulham were going to do this season. We were going to finish in or around Europe, which it looks like, obviously we're not going to get Europe, but it looks like we're going to fall just short, but not too far off, but well clear of relegation. On a side note, Owen, commiserations on your newly arriving child. You have no idea what you're in for.
That's what I've heard from very various experienced heads. Yes, thank you. Strap yourself in was one piece of advice that I got. But,
all right, one. Wait till you get two. You're in trouble. Anyway, yeah, we're in for sort of tomorrow. It's going to be interesting. It could be. I think it's going to be really difficult for us tomorrow to get anything from you guys, because now with Mitrovic being suspended to the last 3 games, that's sort of a bonus thing for you guys anyway. We've now lost Tim Ream at the back. I mean, we can bring sort of Diop into play. But we've now, I don't know if you've seen that Pereira injury where he sort of went out for a header, 50-50 header, and he landed on his ankle or his leg. They still don't really know the outcome. I haven't seen what the full outcome is of that, but I'll be very surprised if he hasn't done any sort of break on that. I've probably got Fulham people looking at this now screaming, I don't already know what's happened. I haven't seen it yet on social media, but yeah, he's a very lucky boy if he hasn't done any ligament or a break there. So straight away, we've lost 3 starters from the side to play you tomorrow. It's a tall order anyway, depending on which Liverpool turns up, of course. But it'll be Fulhamish to play sort of your strongest Liverpool side tomorrow for this season, and then go out and beat you, really.
Well, I didn't know about those 3 injuries, I've got to say. Yeah, I mean, Jack, what have you made of Fulham this season?
Loved them, mate. Especially that FA Cup game. I was screaming at my telly at Old Trafford. I don't know if me and Steve would agree, but I had Fulham on my bet. I was watching them, and they've been absolutely fantastic. I think the loss of Mitrovic has been so pivotal. He's been so integral last season, getting them into the Premier League, and they're completely obviously Steve will probably allude to it tonight, but in terms of how they play through him is special. Obviously Paulinho top the Brazilian lad, or is it Paulinho or the fellow front end?
Oh, Paulinho, yeah, Paulinho. That's how you.
The midfielder. He's Portuguese. The
Oh,
midfielder.
the fellow that used to play for Tottenham. The fellow that celebrated, whoever it is up front anyway. Yes. Steve could help me out here, but he's just keeping his goal.
Carlos Vinicius.
Yeah, Vinicius. There we go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Him. So yeah, the Willian as well coming in, really stable. His experience has offered Fulham quite a lot, considering back into the Premier League. You need players within your squad, really, to players of that ilk, really. And yeah, a great stellar signing for this season, mate.
Yeah, Owen, what have you made of Fulham? I think many people probably sort of either had them sort of in the relegation zone or just outside it, but they've excelled expectations. I mean, anyone is sitting above Chelsea right now, and I think if you are sitting above Chelsea, I think you're very, very successful.
Normally they'd be a lot more successful, but it's just Chelsea are awful. But no, I mean, I'm very impressed. Very impressed. They were my tip for the outsider of the season at the beginning of the season. I get many things wrong, but I got that one right because Mitrovic is such a great player. And to have, to strengthen with Paulinho as well, who was someone that I've been looking at for a while, just in terms of all the geeky stats, looking around I like to, in my head, be a Liverpool scout and scout all the stats and the data from all the players around Europe. And Paulinho, man, he's up there with the best in Europe in terms of tackles, clearances, aerials won. He's really, really good in the air. He's just an ideal number 6, which is my favorite position on the football field, because I think that's where everything happens. In Brazil, they call it the steering wheel, the number 6, and it really is. And if your battleship doesn't have a steering wheel, you're going to crash into some land somewhere. But I've been very, very impressed. A player that I would like to ask Steve about, he's one who's gone under the radar, is Kenny Tete. Because I think this guy, every time I see him, I don't watch Fulham all that often, but every time I see him, I think he's solid AF.
Kenny Tete. Yeah, he's brilliant. I mean, the physical side he can handle, against most. I've seen players recently want to start on him, which probably isn't a good idea for someone like Robertson tomorrow, given that Kenny Tete's dad's a kickboxer or something like that, and he dabbles in it himself. So it's probably not a good idea. It's probably one of these games that Robertson should just take a sort of learning from the linesman incident and actually not stop. So just, if he gets fouled, just get on with the game, move on, leave it alone. Because if Tete really wants to finish Robertson, he'll finish him. Wise, and then Robertson's got a decent chance. But yeah, no, it's going to be good. Tete and Robertson's going to be a classic clash because they both like to push forward. Obviously, we all see enough of Robertson because Liverpool sort of on the box sort of a lot in Europe and stuff like that. But yeah. That could be a clash that decides this game. If either of those can dictate down the wing and get their balls in tomorrow, then again, yeah, Kenny Tete could have the last word. But again, Robertson, we've seen time and time again, could also have the last word. But yeah, your answer to Kenny Tete is he's surprised a lot of people when you think what we could possibly sell that guy for now compared to what we bought him for. I mean, that's another, on the scope of things, it's another Paulinho thing. 20 million for Paulinho. How much can you get for him now? I think it's around 2.5 million for Tete tops. How much could you sell him on for now?
Great deal.
Absolutely. Absolutely, indeed. Let's say hello to another few of you, because I've seen a few of you come in here. The lovely Maisie is in. Hello, Maisie. Hope you're well. Yes, Steve is wearing his Paulinho shirt. There you go. Fulham was extremely unlucky in the FA Cup. The red cards made a difference. We should have been knocked out. Yeah, you should have been. And then he says, yes, Steve was wearing it. Paulinho, Pereira, Willian, Vinicius. I'm also a massive fan of Reed and Robinson. Fantastic performance in the season. Reed massively underrated, 100%.
Doug,
and then I'm loving the...
Doug, can we jump in there? I want to get your guys' opinions as a neutral. This FA Cup game, now, I don't ever condone anything that Fulham did. I was the first to be really annoyed about it, obviously being official myself. But I could understand Silva getting annoyed. So the 3rd minute, there's a corner. I don't know if you guys watched the game. Mitrovic goes up for it, and then he just gets shoved in the back by I've forgotten who it was now. Oh, Luke Shaw. And there's no penalty given, no VAR gives it. Do you think he had a right to be a bit annoyed and a bit aggrieved about that? As a neutral? Any of you guys see it?
Yes.
I didn't see the incident, but I would say that like getting annoyed is okay. I didn't even see what he did, but like bad officiating is rife. Like it's Liverpool fans even yesterday with Paul Tierney and you know the guy elbowing Andy Robertson in the face, who was the assistant referee. You're not supposed to do that if you're an official. And, you know, I think that there just needs to be accountability. You know, I think it's good that Mitrovic, there was a panel who sat down and looked at the evidence and they judged him based on the evidence of him assaulting the whatever he did. I didn't even see it. But the players have account and the managers, because Jurgen Klopp's been charged, they need to justify their actions, but refs never do. And I think it's absolutely time that it goes both ways. The idea of respect goes both ways. That we need more of it. So yes, of course, people get annoyed. You're going to get annoyed at bad decisions, and also bad decisions are going to happen because it's, you know, refs are human. Everybody's human, but you know, it's the reaction. We need to be a bit more adult about the reaction. Like, so if it's an awful decision, use VAR, for example, to ask the question, is it the correct decision? And not, shall I uphold what the ref said or not? Just what's the correct decision? That's the first thing you can try and do. And also, but just generally, I don't know. I see so many players around the refs. Man United do it quite often, and sometimes other teams do it as well, surrounding the referee. And it's just, I don't know, shouting, complaining at the referee. I don't want to see that either. But I don't know. That's my long answer, even for someone who didn't even see the incident. So there you go.
Yeah, Jack, you want to go come in on that one?
Yeah, and just in terms of the officials, you know, obviously Jurgen, quite rightly, he admitted today in his presser he was in the wrong. Football is a very passionate game, isn't it? We've all played it as kids, as adults, or whatever level. Everyone knows the boundaries that you can't step over. The Mitrovic instance, yeah, he was wrong, but at the end of the day, as Owen's alluded to, and we just want consistency. Every football fan up and down the length and breadth of the UK wants consistency and an understanding, really, from the officials. It's like an all boys club anyway. The referees, it is like they're all best mates.
Yeah.
And especially when you've got a referee, well, the majority of the referees, a large pool of them are all from Manchester, and Paul Tierney's 2 brothers or family relatives have got season tickets, supposedly, at Manchester
to
City.
Man City, yeah.
Yeah, so if that is a conspiracy, if it's accurate, I'll just let you know. You can make your own assumptions on that. But yeah, it's mad, but we just want consistency. But enough about the refs. There's going to be a good game tomorrow evening, and there's going to be a lot of quality on the pitch.
Yeah, we will. I'll go into the comments, and then we will speak about the game. Battleships have a helm. Yeah. Teddy, yes, great shout, Owen. He's definitely one who should be mentioned a lot more. Hello, young Douglas. Hello, Luke. Hope you are well. Like and share the stream. Says Liz. Hi, Liz. Maisie saying hello to Liz. I'm better now. Had stupid COVID after all this time. Oh my gosh, Liz. I hope you're okay. Nothing worse than it seems to be a bit rife again, actually. Also, yes, I think so, Steve. As a Man United fan, we should have had a pen against us. Oh, sorry to hear that, Liz. That's so crap. Zayn Hanav is in. Jurgen Klopp is used as a scapegoat for terrible officiating. I mean, look, he was wrong. He was wrong in what he did at the weekend. I do think as well, though, there were a few decisions I think didn't go our way. The skip one, for me, that's a red card. Like we've seen recently that the follow through does actually get you sent off. We've seen obviously Casemiro does a follow through on I can't remember Alcaraz. I think it's Alcaraz. He gets sent off. So we just want a bit of consistency. We just want a bit of consistency. But we'll be here all night. If we're speaking of foot referees.
The only thing I would say to that is to counteract for, let's say, because Klopp celebrates in front of the fourth official, doesn't he? Pulls his hamstring as a bit of karma. But what if an official who's also a professional turned around and celebrated a red card against Liverpool in Klopp's face? Would that be acceptable?
Well,
So
it's happened on the touchline. Referees have smiled and everything.
A manager can do it to an official and, it's not too bad. But if they were to do it the other way around, or tell him how to manage his football team, could you imagine the scenes that would develop out of that? So, just, you know what I mean? Sort of telling someone how to do their job is a bit rich sometimes. But
swings and roundabouts, though, mate, isn't it? So for every club, anyway. If it's against like any other team, if it's your team, you're absolutely fuming on the weekend. And it's not just Liverpool fans. Like every football fan in the Prem has been affected by poor officiating. It's not just, it's Jurgen every single week. Yeah. Every manager has a whinge, but because it's Jurgen Klopp or if it's Fergie, like it used to be, if it's Pep, it sells newspapers, it sells clicks. So the big boys, and they're the example.
But I think Jurgen Klopp, I mean, it's not. He doesn't do it every week. It particularly for Paul Tierney, because he's particularly bad and particularly biased against Liverpool, and there are others as well. I mean, you just have to look at, for example, the fact that Liverpool have had 3 penalties in a year, but despite all the touches we have in the penalty box, Klopp's not complaining every week. He's not complaining because he understands that there is. He can't do anything against bad refereeing, but when time and time again, he's not whistling for fouls against Mo Salah for some unknown reason, and he's letting exactly the same decisions go the other way, then, exactly. Salah's got this reputation for being a diver. But from the people who watch him in every single game, although we're biased towards him, I don't think Jack or Doug will think that he's a diver at all. Quite the opposite. A lot of the times he's manhandled, and 99% of other teams, if Bruno Fernandes was even touched in that way, then he would be going down and screaming. And that works with referees. They're like, "Oh, foul! Yeah, did you hear that? Well, yeah, wow! There's a reaction."
If he was Harry Kane, an England captain, just saying that.
Well, yeah, exactly. Because the ridiculousness of it today was the FA put out a statement talking about bias. Jurgen Klopp is being disciplined for mentioning the word bias in post-match press conferences. That's what he's being disciplined for. Every single human has bias. Ask any psychologist or any psychiatrist who looks into it. You can look it up, Google it. It takes 0.28 seconds or however fast Google works. Google cognitive biases, and there are many of them. We all have them. And so to pretend that your referees are not biased is like saying they're not human. Which, some would argue maybe some of them aren't. But, in general, like I find it, sorry, I'm going on a bit, but I find it ridiculous, the conversation around, how referees are protected against everything. And, even when, and Jurgen Klopp is some kind of villain because he's always shouting at the refs or assistant refs. It's not true. None of it's true.
It's an important 4 weeks for the officials because teams will survive on their decisions. Look at, obviously, it was a Sheffield United game or the Villa game where that technology failed massively in that game.
Yeah.
The ball that crossed the line.
Yeah,
yes.
And it will cost teams 100-odd million if they get relegated, of course, over a 38-game season. It's their fault if they're down there. But
But did the refs get punished, though? No, because there's no accountability.
Yeah.
They didn't. Nothing happened.
Technology.
Yeah, I know. But going back on obviously into this game, obviously Fulham have already had a win over in Merseyside over the Ev. which is a very, very good performance. I do have to say. How are you feeling going into this one tomorrow? Do you think you'll go into this game thinking, yes, we've got a 2-2 at the start of the season, just play the way we can maybe snatch something?
I mean, we nearly snatched something against Man City at the weekend. Honestly, like people will say, any Fulham fan watching this will say, oh, this is typical Steve. But like I was saying earlier, given that we're missing Mitrovic still, we're now missing Ream. I know Diop can kind of slip in there. We're now missing Andreas Pereira. The other guys stepping in, apart from Kearney, haven't really performed as of late. So I'd probably say for us to get anything out of you guys that are not doing too bad, I know you had that sort of 3-0 to 3-0 to 4-3 over Spurs, but you've been doing quite well since the first time we guys and recently. I don't see us getting anything out tomorrow. I just can't see it. We're going to have to score minimum 2, maybe 3 goals at Anfield tomorrow to get anything out, to probably get a win out of the game. I don't see it. We don't have that amount of goals in us. What we're going to have out there tomorrow. Correct me if I'm wrong. It'll probably be like 4-1 to us or something like that. Something crazy. But I don't see it. I just can't see us creating the chances and the people that score the goals tomorrow.
It's very, very interesting because I look at your team and I think all throughout the season, I think you signed a very good goalkeeper in Bernd Leno. I've always been a fan of Bernd Leno. I've been a fan of his since he was obviously at Bayer Leverkusen in Germany. I thought he was good at Arsenal. I think when you got him, I thought that was a very, very shrewd move to get a goalkeeper of his class, Premier League quality as well. How's he been this season, Bernd Leno?
He's better than Ramsdale.
Yes.
And it's got to be to do with age. I mean, I don't dislike Ramsdale. I think he's a good keeper. But if you're looking at, I think up to a few weeks ago, sort of early February or something, they had the top European keeper or something based on stats. And I think Bernd Leno was in that team, European team at that time based on stats as the goalkeeper. So that shows you how well the guy's done this year. The saves he pulled up against City at the weekend, again, absolute classic. But he's a top quality goalkeeper. You don't see, with the greatest respect, you've got keepers up there. Ederson's done quite well for City, but he makes the odd mistake. You've got Alisson this year for you guys. I mean, has been making mistakes all over the shop. Leno is a guy that can fit in the top 14, easily within the 14. You got David De Gea, who's been making mistakes this year. So you tell me how Leno could fit into his top 4 at the moment.
Nice. He would. He certainly would. I mean, Jack, that game earlier in the season, were we a little bit lucky to get away with a 2-2? Oh, I think Jack's muted.
I didn't.
bit of respite for everyone. But yeah, it untypified our season, in all honesty, mate. Fulham absolutely ran us off the park, and obviously for the weeks and months to come for them, it was a big barometer of where they would find themselves in terms of this season's performance, mate. But yeah, I remember Luis Diaz hitting the post, but we got absolutely destroyed, in all honesty. We didn't really deserve anything out of that game, in all honesty, mate. But yeah, it was a disappointing performance, in all honesty, but it was a thing that highlighted what Liverpool's frailties were massively in terms of just highlighted Paulinho's quality already, 90 minutes in that game, and obviously how well he's continued to play us.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Paulinho. I mean, Owen, how big of a loss is Mitrovic tomorrow? Because he actually gave our defence a real runaround that day.
Well, I mean, with my bias, I still think it was a foul on Trent Alexander-Arnold when he scored that header at the back post. But so I'm sure Steve would disagree. He's head in the hands already. But okay. But no, that's just it's just my opinion. I've seen many fouls given for that this season. But anyway, he's a great player. He's a great player. I would love him to sign for Liverpool. I really would, even despite our amazing talent. To have another one He's incredible. I like his. Well, yeah, I mean, you know, we're fine as well with what we've got, but yeah, I mean, Mitrovic would give us something that we don't have, which is absolute, like, you know, like a thunderball up front. He's sort of like, you know, he's like, what's he like? He's like
an ox.
Well, I was going to say bigger than an ox, like sort of a superhuman. What's that character from the Fantastic Four who's like absolutely massive and made out of rocks? That's who he reminds me of. You know, this the Thing or something. What's his name? But I don't know. But he's like a superhero up front. He's big and he's strong and he gets everywhere around the pitch and he plays with a snarl on his face. And I love players with a snarl. I loved Sadio Mane's snarl. And that's great. But going back to just quickly on Bernd Leno, he's in the 98th percentile for what they call post-shot expected goals minus goals allowed, or the Canny acronym PSXG minus GA, which, you know, you got to love it. But what it basically means is that, you know, he saved a shed load of shots, basically.
Yeah.
So anything you do, his other stats aren't quite as impressive. For example, his that stat, which is the ones that the goals that teams are supposed to score against him, they don't. Very often compared to other keepers. So just to compare Alisson to Bernd Leno on that stat, Bernd Leno has 0.27 and Alisson has 0.15. So, you know, Alisson has been brilliant in terms of you know, actual shots saved. Alisson's way ahead, and shot percentage, save percentage, Alisson's only at 68%, whereas Bernd Leno is on 77.1%. So, I mean, we think Alisson has had a really good season, and he has. But Bernd Leno has had an even better season. So he really is someone that not enough people are talking about him outside of Fulham. But he's absolutely brilliant.
He's very underrated, Bernd Leno. As I said, I've been a big fan. Another player who I have to say really sort of caught me off guard when you guys signed him was Andreas Pereira. Now, Manchester United fans called him the pre-season Pirlo, which I never understood. But I have to hold my hands up and say he has been very, very good, and he is a big loss tomorrow.
Massive loss. I think he's been a bit better than we expected. I think to be at Manchester United and get a look in the first team, especially around the time he was, he's got to be some sort of player to do that. But he never, for whatever reason, maybe the manager didn't believe in him, didn't play to his strengths. There were better players ahead of him. He just didn't get a look in. So he's gone elsewhere. Then he's come back to sort of England to give it another go. And I think he's just the right fit. Sometimes players are just the right fit, aren't they? And like managers for clubs, sometimes they're just the right fit. Like you had Roy Hodgson, he was just the right fit for Fulham. He went to Liverpool, he probably wasn't the right fit. Straight away. It's just that sort of thing. Some people just fit. You know, it doesn't make them a bad player, doesn't make them a bad manager, because they then go on to do better elsewhere. But again, some like Klopp, he's just a fit at Liverpool at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but I've got to say, the one player that really interests me tomorrow is obviously that Paulinho. I mean, Jack, me and you have been big fans of his all season. Do you think Fulham will be able to keep him in the summer?
Yes and no. It depends, obviously. When I've spoke to West Ham mates speaking about Declan Rice, obviously I think he's got a year left on his contract. But it's what these players mean to obviously Fulham, West Ham. They are the main figurehead of the squad. They have such an important role to play in this squad in terms of, and the value as well. You're not just getting a third or fourth choice main key player. You're getting the creme de la creme from that squad. So, and as Steve's alluded to, it's obviously the valuation probably is in excess of 50, 60 million now, because you look at the lack of their quality currently in the Premier League. The pool of quality players is probably a lot more smaller, in all honesty. And you know exactly what you're going to be getting with Paulinho. So yeah, he's an excellent talent, definitely what Liverpool have needed. But it just goes to show, you look at Fulham's recruitment with the loss of Carvalho, brought in Pereira as well from United, and it's excellent business. And that's where clubs from 10th to 20th in terms of the last 2 years of the development and the recruitment has been absolutely spot on. Brighton, Fulham, Brentford even, these clubs that have become a lot more stable within the Premier League. And it's broke the cycle. Norwich aren't coming into the league. Fulham so happy days. No yo-yo. No more yo-yo. So happy days.
Yeah, they're not coming back up this season. Neither are Watford either. But obviously we've got Burnley and Sheffield United, and then someone else. So I think of Middlesbrough, Luton. Honestly, I'm going to be so scared of Millwall coming to the Premier League. Just imagine the amount of policing that you're going to need.
They're not coming. They're not getting past Luton or a Middlesbrough. It's just not happening. It's not.
I don't think so. I don't. But obviously enough about Millwall. Anyway, Steve, what have you made of Liverpool this season? Just from a sort of an outside point of view.
Well, we were talking a bit earlier about that whole stat, wasn't it? That no one's dribbled past Van Dijk or something. And then first game of the season, lo and behold, not even anyone with any particular pace. Mitrovic absolutely batters him all, completes however many dribbles past him from minute one. And it just killed him. It's almost like I'm sure it's not completely related to that whatsoever, but it's almost like that dribble's killed him. It's taken him half a season to recover. Do you know what I mean? But and the whole team. But you guys have been really, I'll be honest with you, you started really, really poor. Whether that's because you've been playing well as well, coming up like ourselves, but you weren't the same as you were last year. You started to find your feet. I did actually think, to be fair, we were going to finish above you this year, but I think Chelsea have maybe turned into Liverpool that we thought might materialise. So you've kind of swapped places as the season's gone on. Chelsea got significantly worse, and you've got significantly better. So I mean, it's nice to be finishing above Chelsea anyway. Hopefully, more more than Liverpool. I'd take that any day of the week. But yeah, no. You guys, next year is going to be really interesting for you. Correct me if I'm wrong. You can get European football, can't you, of some sort this year in the Europa
League? Yeah.
But again, the player you can. Let's say you're looking at someone like Palhinha. You think where we are this year, not a million miles away, little old Fulham, not a million miles away. We've reset the budget, if you like, from the disastrous spending the last 3 or 4 years. The club could say, right, what kind of losses do we want to make? We could do Palhinha sort of investment this summer in the areas we need. And everyone will sit here, well, maybe not now, but earlier in the season, he said it's silly to think. You've got Newcastle battling on Champions League. Villa are up in 5th or 6th or somewhere. Palhinha, we could be pushing Europe Champions League. Everyone says it's stupid, but again, it depends on and what players can you attract more, shall we say, than a club like us at the moment. Does Palhinha want to go and say, right, I'll help rebuild Liverpool this year, or I'll stay, let's have another year at Fulham, see what we do this year. We're not going to overtake you, but let's say, could we get on a par, somewhere on a par next season? So again, give it one more year. Long term, you guys you're going to be back up there. But the next year or two is going to be very, very interesting.
Yeah, I think that's very, very fair what you've said there. I think because you are right. We started really, really poorly. I think this. Correct me if I'm saying, Owen, is this our longest winning run of the season?
I think it might be, or I think maybe we've done it once before. Actually, before I can't remember. I think we've won 4 out of 5 and drawn the other. And I think I remember doing a preview earlier in the season of a game where we were on a similar run, but that was very, very fluky. Whereas this one actually feels like we've sort of deserved it. I think we did it maybe once before this season where we were just lucky. All of our wins have been luck. We've been god awful. The rebuild, despite this upturn, is still big. Let's be honest. We still got a lot of work to do. We're capable of brilliance. Tottenham reminded me of Real Madrid game a lot, because in the Real Madrid game, of course, it's the same thing. First 20 minutes, we were all over them, dominant. We were 2 goals up. As soon as they scored, we were like, oh no, the other team is allowed to play, and we completely lost our heads and lost all cool and belief and stopped running. Why do you stop running when you're playing football? Very strange. Don't get it. So, yeah, we still got a huge rebuild to do. Thank you for that comment, by the way, Liz. I don't know if she's still here, but beautiful comment.
Yeah, that's a lovely comment.
That's
a
very
lovely
nice
comment.
It's I don't know. We still got a long way to go, but it feels good to be winning games again. And with the injuries, Reem is going to be a huge miss for you, Steve.
He's
Reem,
massive.
He's a brilliant.
He has been undoubtedly someone who again has gone under the radar, Jack. Tim Ream.
Yeah, I think early on, a couple of weeks ago, Pep Guardiola he more or less said if he was a bit more younger, he would have signed him. He was on record as saying that, so it just goes to show the admiration of a world class coach like Pep has for him, and obviously the quality in which he showed. A lot of American players, they've transitioned really well over the last 5-year period. I think soccer, as they call it, is getting a lot more exposure, with obviously the lot more American owners coming to the not just English Premier League, but the European game as well. So yeah, he's a lad with quality. The experience is. So you do watch centre halves in the Premier League, and the fact that he can command a back line, there's not many like old school centre halves like that. I don't think anymore. But yeah, definitely, mate. You'd hope. How old does he stay? Is he about 35?
He's 35, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it feels like he's coming into his prime now with about 1 or 2 years left. But do you know what? He's been a loyal. So you think this guy was probably average, at Bolton Wanderers, then you probably say he was average coming to us maybe in the Championship. He was with us in the seasons we were dire, nearly going down there. Stuck through us, had a disastrous couple, but again, that wasn't really his fault. But a couple of disastrous seasons in the Prem. Now you're seeing he's got a squad and maybe it's a bit harsh, but maybe you think the amount of goals that Fulham should concede in a game based on the XG, maybe we still haven't got the defence there as such, because you still think having to score a couple of goals a game to actually win a game is you shouldn't have to be doing that. But again, the guy, maybe that's a team thing, but the guy for 35-year-old Tim Ream, where he's come from to where he is now, and to have Guardiola within the last couple of weeks come out and say that, I mean that's everything you need to know.
Yeah, it was.
100%.
Do you reckon he can carry on for a couple of years? You're looking at Thiago Silva at Chelsea. Like, players are coming into the Premier League with the nutrition and sports science, everything. Like, players' careers are a lot more longer now, in all honesty, mate. Do you reckon he could do it for another 1 or 2 years?
I think I heard that he wants to have another couple of years towards the top, and then maybe a couple of years. And he might be watching this or hearing a grapevine. What are you banging on about? I've got no, I'm retiring next year. But I think while he's playing well, I know it's old. You don't want to go out on a whimper, but while he's playing well at 35 years old, enjoy the time you've got. If you can keep that going for another couple of seasons, keep it going, because like anyone says, it's a short career at that level. Sort of even playing at levels I was playing at now. I referee now, but I'm 39. I miss, I still get the odd sort of 5-a-side game, but I miss playing. And it's true, when you're young, the game's there, but it soon goes. You're soon 35, 36, 37, 40. Do you know what I mean? Playing your local average Sunday league, or do you know what I mean? It does go. Time does go. So I think he's got to appreciate it while he can still do it at 35 at the top level. Carry on, whether it's 6 months, a year, 18 months, do it.
Yeah, Tim Ream has been fantastic, and he was at the World Cup as well. I remember him. He was one of those ones that actually had that blue thing in his hair. Every time he played, you could just basically notice who it was, and it was obviously Tim Ream. But no, Tim Ream, fantastic, and I think as well it goes to show as well. I think a lot of people have to say very sorry to Marco Silva. Now, this is a guy who, if I did my maths correctly, had a 30% win rate between the clubs that he was at: Everton, Watford, and Hull. He had a 30% win rate. Goes to Fulham, brings them up, and you know what? Top half finish would not be a bad season at all. Jack, do you think a lot of people have to say a big sorry to Marco Silva?
Yeah, mate, it goes to what Steve alluded to there before, mate, in terms of managers or certain players fitting like a glove. And I think he's really integrated to, obviously, the surrounding area of Fulham, and it looks like he's enjoying it. I think even the players as well, you get that sense with certain managers. But certainly, mate, he's a credit to him. And you look at, obviously, Thomas Frank at Brentford. I fully anticipate with a strong summer this season, they could easily solidify themselves as a quite comfortable top 10 upwards team in the next couple of year period, because sustainability for the modern Premier League teams now is so integral. The amount of money that is flowing through the clubs, TV revenues, and every ounce, every strand of football, it's so integral. But yeah, he's developing. He's probably a manager that has sat down and reevaluated. You look at Eddie Howe at Newcastle, took a bit of a sabbatical, really, and analysed his own game. And that's certainly what Marco Silva. It's not like the whole side that we did watch in his manager, and Everton as well. And I tell you what, Everton are probably sat at home and the board's going, well, who's that manager? He wasn't that reaching those levels, but he's certainly a manager that will get a lot of admiration in and around the Premier League and in and around Europe as well, because he's doing an absolute stellar job.
And I suppose be careful what you wish for, Owen, because it looks like Leeds are going to be getting Big Sam back.
Really? Good Lord. There is that meme of Big Sam where, with a pepperoni in his pint of beer at the bar, using it as a straw or something. And that's where he belongs. That's where he's been. He's been in the bar in Alicante. But, I don't know. Good luck. Turn to Big Sam. It's like, I don't know, it's like a default reaction. I don't know who these managers' agents are or whatever, but they like the merry-go-round of managers who don't know their stuff is like Lampard. We're 15 minutes away from Chelsea versus Arsenal, and Frank Lampard is still in charge of a Premier League team.
Yeah.
Oh,
I can't understand it. Go on.
Who's that guy that plays for? Is it that Moteng or somebody who plays for Bayern Munich? And I'll tell you what, if any one of us had his agent, we'd be playing for Bayern Munich. I can tell you that now.
Choupo-Moting. Yeah.
Eric Choupo. Yeah, absolutely. What a legend.
Do you remember him at, was it Stoke he was at? Was it Stoke?
Yeah, Stoke to PSG to Bayern Munich. What a career.
Wasn't he? He was really bad. But it just goes to show you, he knows where the net is. He's got players that can provide. You could probably pick another Moteng up from, the Southern League in English football.
Probably. Yeah.
If you've got
nurtured right, then look, away you go. But
just quickly on just one stat to blow your mind. Choupo-Moting is in the 97th percentile, so the top 3% of all strikers in Europe for non-penalty goals per match.
So, oh my goodness!
No one else is bagging him in like Choupo. Well, 2% more.
That is mind blowing. That's absolutely mind blowing. We'll get into sort of starting 11s now. So, Jack, Jota is a doubt. I'm not too surprised because he has actually played a lot recently. Do you think he will probably be one of the ones to maybe miss out tomorrow?
Yeah, anticipate Darwin Núñez, Darwizzy, whatever you want to call him, the absolute nutter. He'll probably come in and do, well, hoping he plays much better than he has done in recent weeks. Obviously, the jury's still out for, obviously, non-Liverpool fans, but I think he's only a couple of goals off Didier Drogba's record of highest goal scoring this season in the Prem. So, yeah, similar. I don't anticipate there to be many changes. Classic adage saying, never change a winning side, really. A couple of rotational, I anticipate probably Henderson to come back in for one of the midfielders. I'd like to see Curtis Jones continue playing. Really, he's been absolutely phenomenal.
He has.
especially the criticism in which he has suffered, wrongfully anyway, but he's still only 22, but I think he's still got a lot to prove. But you never know. It could be an advertisement for the summer window. If a Villa or another club in the Premier League comes in for him, he might potentially go. But yeah, Darwin, Cody Gakpo, Salah up front. It's not like winning Champions League. Sadly, we haven't got that next week. So yeah, it'll be all strength, all guns blazing. Trent back into that. Well, Trent playing fullback, but obviously converting in game to that 6 role. He's been in such inspired form. He's revolutionised his game. He's going back to what he used to do in the academy. Yeah, it's similar starting lineup for me, Miz.
What about you, Owen?
Yeah, same. I mean, yeah, exactly. I wouldn't start Harvey Elliott because as good as he is with the ball, it's just without it. It's you may as well have I don't know some kind of spider's web in defence because you can just go right through him. But it's so more or less unchanged. I mean, Curtis Jones, Fabinho, and Thiago in midfield probably would be my 3. And yeah, I want to see a better offside line from Liverpool because I think that's been a big problem all season that we haven't really talked about is how time and time again we either get caught on it or we don't, but we've been caught out on it plenty of times. It's either Robertson or Trent when he's back there. He's like 2 yards behind everyone else, and it always playing people on, and you just need to time that pass right, and it's a big weakness of ours. I'd like to see that better, but then up front, is Luis Diaz injured again? No,
I don't think so.
Because he would start on the left for me with Gakpo and Salah, and I'm expecting a win because I think because Ream is out and Pereira is out. But Fulham, I mean, they've historically got a horrible record against Liverpool with 2 of 29 Anfield games being wins for Fulham. But both of those victories have come in their last 5 visits to Anfield. So I'm not expecting an easy win, but I think we'll win just because Ream is out.
It's Liverpool, boys. Steve will probably be surprised by tomorrow night. Anyway, it's what Jekyll and Hyde we have been this season so many times, and
it's just like what we have been. It's just like what we have been. Anyway, so yeah, Steve. Obviously, with the injuries, how do you think Fulham will line up tomorrow?
Well, first on Liverpool lineup, I was going to say you need to bring in some youngsters with a view to next year. So I reckon you should play the under-18s tomorrow.
Probably be better.
They do all right.
Given that we lost to Crawley in the Carabao Cup, I'd suggest that we just play your first team instead. That we'll have a better opportunity to win. It's going to be Leno. It's going to be the same team as City. You're going to have Leno, Robinson, Diop's going to come in for Ream. Adebayo, Kenny Tete is going to smash Robertson. No, sorry, I mean Kenny Tete. Palhinha, Kenny, Harrison Reed, who's also underrated, might I add to that.
Yeah.
Vinicius, probably after his performance at the weekend, will get the nod over Dan James. And then you've probably got a choice of Williams, possibly not going to be fit. So you're looking at Solomon maybe coming in and Harry Wilson.
Yes. Solomon's gone under the radar a little bit because he was on a very, very good sort of scoring run, and then just ever since then, sort of the goals have dried up. But what have you made of Manor Solomon? Because I think he's going to be a big player for club and country.
Yeah, I think we might have missed the boat here. We had an agreement in place, I think, to sign him for 7 million or around that figure, and then when all this sort of Ukraine-Russia war started and it was they could suspend their contracts for a year, we decided to take advantage of that and get him for nothing. The problem with that is now he's kind of a little bit on the radar. People have seen what he can do. Although he hasn't performed lately, we're now open to the fact that he's either going to return there, we're going to have to pay a lot more for him, or someone else going to come in and take him from under our noses. So 7 million for Solomon, when you think about how he can perform and how he has performed in games, it's a snip, isn't it? Again, 7 million, it's a snip.
Yeah.
And you're talking Leno, Paulinho, Pereira sort of market. And we could end up losing that sort of talent now. Far better than how much did Chelsea pay for Mudryk? 60, 70, 80 million?
88 million.
Crazy.
And we were going to pay 7 million for Solomon. I mean, there's a stark difference in the ability of both players. Let's be honest. I think they just got the figures around the wrong way.
Yeah, absolutely indeed. Jack, I know you do have to go. What's your score prediction for tomorrow?
2-1 Liverpool. A win. It's not going to be amazing. As I said, the top of the season absolutely ran us ragged. And I think they potentially might do that again tomorrow evening, because it's not like miraculously we've gone out and bought a Paulinho or a Jude Bellingham. We've got James Milner, who's probably about 50 by the end of when tomorrow comes around, mate. But yeah, 2-1 I'll go. But lads, enjoy it, and obviously great to speak to you again, Steve, Owen, and Doug. Have a lovely rest of your week as well, everyone, lads, and all the Fulham lads travelling up. Best of luck for this season, and of course next season, boys. Appreciate it, Mr.
Yeah, absolutely. Enjoy Arsenal Chelsea. That should be a good one, and hopefully Frank Lampard will be losing game number 6, and then the good old 0-0-7 can come out in the next game.
It's gonna be a 0-0 in it, boys. But see you later, boys.
See you later, Jack. Cheers, mate. Cheers. Jack Mac, go and check out Anfield Road TV, ladies and gentlemen. That was lovely to have him, and I know he has Arsenal Chelsea watch along coming up as well. Owen, how do you see tomorrow going?
Well, Liverpool are, quietly on a very good run in terms of midweek games. We've won 14, drawn 1, and lost 1 for all of our midweek games. So for some reason we like it in midweek. No distractions for the discos of the Friday and Saturday night. And so it's all serious, it's all business, and I think we'll get the business done. Of course, I can see us conceding. I can see us conceding at least 1, possibly 2, possibly 3. But with the firepower up front, I think we're going to score 4. So I'm going to say 4-2 as my prediction.
4-2.
Because I just think, Salah versus Robinson, and I don't know, he's an unbelievable player, Mo Salah, and they're all really good. Luis Diaz as well, coming back. Gakpo, oh man, people don't realise how good he is. But he's causing everyone problems. So yeah, I'm confident of a Liverpool victory, but this season, you never know. I don't think it'll be easy either.
You never know. Steve, I know your last trip to Merseyside was a 3-1 win at Everton. What's your prediction for tomorrow?
Well, my prediction is I don't think Salah's going to outrun Robinson because Robinson's quick. So he's going to have to use some tricks because he's just not going to knock the ball past and run. He's going to get caught up pretty fast. My honest prediction is probably 2-0 Liverpool or 2-1 to Liverpool. That being said, the way Fulham season's gone and it's Fulhamish, it can be anywhere. You guys could win 4-0. We could turn up and win 4-1. You could have a disastrous night. I don't honestly see you guys scoring 4 goals. That simply because if we put the same performance in we did against City, I know there's going to be a couple of personnel changes, but not even they struggled to get a couple of goals past us, a penalty and a worldie. That's what they beat us by, a worldie. And with all due respect, you guys are not Man City this season. But again, I'll come on tomorrow. You'd have won 6-0. But just see where I'm going with that. We can only go on based on how it's going. I don't see you guys scoring 4 goals tomorrow, but I can see us having to score 2 or 3 to actually get anything out of this game.
I'm in agreement with you. I don't think we score 4 tomorrow. I'm actually going 2-1 Liverpool. I'm not. I think we'll win, but I think it's going to be a very, very tricky game to say the very least. Andrew Quinn is in. How impressive has Cody been for us? The run he made for the second goal on the weekend.
Brilliant.
He's just gone under. Another player that's gone under the radar is Cody Gakpo. Fantastic player, fantastic, and it is looking like Klopp does really have him as the Bobby role, sort of the number 9 role, which I think is very, very good. Badger and Scousebirds in, no Mount. Jack was with us. Do you know what? I disagree. I actually like the home kit for next season. It's kind of reminding me of a very, very old Liverpool top. I can't remember what year it was, but that's actually a nice kit. The away one, absolutely agree with this. It does look like Tetris. It actually looks like Minecraft, to say the very, very least. But guys, thank you very much for watching another fantastic preview. Big thanks to my guest, Jack Mack from obviously Anfield Road TV, Owen from the Cop On, and obviously Steve as well, Steve Liddiard. I know you don't have a channel, Steve, but tell the people where they can find you.
So me, yeah, I'm predominantly, you'll find me doing Twitter. So at Lids, that's with a double D, LIDDS 84. Yes, that's the year I was born. I look a lot younger, I know. But yeah, Lids 84 on Twitter.
No, it's been a pleasure. It's been an absolute pleasure. And obviously until obviously after tomorrow, we will obviously wish you the best of luck for the rest of the season. But I don't think you need good luck because you're going to finish top half. And I think you'll probably finish above Chelsea. And that's always a...
I say at least 17th. That was the aim at the start of the season.
Yeah, and you're 10th. That's fantastic. 10th.
Amazing.
Absolutely fantastic. Owen, thank you very much for coming on. I know that obviously you have a new arrival coming very, very shortly, which is absolutely amazing news. Obviously, send my love to Stephanie as well. Thanks. But tell the people where they can find you.
Google Cop On Podcast, because we got we're on Twitter. We've got the main feed is the audio feed. It's had technical issues for our Tottenham review, which we recorded the other day. So unfortunately, I can't put that out. But it's we'll be back as soon as I can. Obviously, if and when the baby arrives any day now, then obviously I'm going to put everything else on the back burner for a bit. And so thank you, Doug. It's great speaking to you, Steve, as well. Thanks to everybody in the chat and the comments. And let's look forward to some good footy.
Hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm actually missing the game tomorrow. I'm actually going to a thing with Jeff Stelling, Matt Letizia, Paul Merson, Charlie Nicholas, and Phil Thompson, the pundits. So I've got a meet and greet with them tomorrow. So that's going to be absolutely fabulous.
Interesting. Don't ask Matt Letizia about the aliens. You'll be there all night.
The aliens.
You know, he's a conspiracy theorist. Have you seen it?
Oh yes, I have seen it.
He's a very big conspiracy theorist. Very interesting. He's a Channel Islander like me. I'm from Jersey. He's from Guernsey. The traditional enemies.
Ah yes.
Think Liverpool, right. Manchester United, and multiply it by 1,000. Those horrible Guernseyites.
So yes, I am going.
But no, he's yeah, but that sounds good.
So yes, I'm looking forward to it. I'm getting a photo with them as well, so that'll be very, very good to see as well. But no, guys, thank you very much for coming on, and thank you very much for everyone who's watched in the chat as well. Liverpool Fulham, going to be a very interesting one. Liverpool have to win to stand any chance. Well, I think it's a very, very slight chance of top 4. But Fulham win. It's just another fabulous win and what has been a fantastic season for the Cottagers. But guys, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you very, very soon. Take care. Bye-bye for now.